with our intelligence agencies is that they are not perfect. They'd be the first to acknowledge that, but they are full of extraordinarily hardworking, patriotic, and knowledgeable experts. And if you're not getting their perspective, their detailed perspective, then you are flying blind.
Flying blind. President Obama sending a warning to Donald Trump after the president-elect said that he does not need daily intelligence briefings because he is, quote, a smart person, and that he also thinks it's repetitive in some form. Instead, Trump has been delegating daily briefings to the vice president-elect and top advisors. Let's talk about this and more. Evan McMullin, he's joining me now. He ran against Donald Trump as an independent candidate for president. He also is a former CIA agent and former policy director for the House Republican Conference. Evan, great to see you. Thanks for coming back in.
Great to be with you, Kate.
Thank you. On exactly what President Obama was talking about here and the fact that Donald Trump has said he doesn't need daily briefings. It's some of the information, it appears, he thinks has seemed repetitive. If they've got something new, if the assessment changes, they know where to find him, is what he says. Does that work for you?
No, not at all, and it shouldn't work for any American president. Look, when the CIA briefers come to you, they're bringing information that is based on signals intelligence. That means intercept of foreign communications, information from human sources, information from a range of other open and covert sources. You simply cannot function as a president without having access to that information, at least not function well. So it's highly concerning. It should be highly concerning for all Americans that Donald Trump, first and foremost, doesn't have interest in that information. That's not to say that it's always perfect. We live in an uncertain world. Our intelligence analysts are connecting dots that are, not always obvious and that have to be discovered. And it's not always easy, but that's why they're there. That's why they're there, and that's why they have the expertise they do. And that's why any American president needs to make sure that they're tapped into that information and that expertise.
Kind of to that point, we've talked a lot about, you and I, about Russia's influence in this past election. And over the weekend, the intel assessment that Russia was behind the hackings during the election and did so in order to tip the scales in favor of Donald Trump. Kellyanne Conway, Trump's campaign manager, she has spoke out a lot about this. She says that she thinks when it comes to this assessment coming from the CIA, it's all politics behind it. Listen to this.
And this smells like politics, plain and simple. We in the Trump presidency do not want foreign governments interfering in our elections. That's very clear. We also don't want intelligence interfering in our politics, but we certainly don't want what we have now, which is politics interfering in our intelligence.
You were at the CIA. You've now moved into the world of politics. Do you think politics bled into this?
I think what you just heard from Kellyanne Conway is politics. What you're hearing from the CIA is not, absolutely not. Kate, we cannot lose sight of something that is highly troubling. We have a U.S. president-elect who is staunchly in favor of aligning our country with the very country that sought to undermine and influence our election. Think about that. This should be an all-alarm alert. It should be something that all Americans, regardless of political persuasion, regardless of whatever party you belong to, this should be something that we reject. We need to stand up and oppose this. We need to watch everything that this administration does. I mean, it is highly, highly troubling.
One of the things that the president has done with, well, when you look at the relationship with Russia is coming out, is his pick for Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. Do you like him?
Well, I don't know him personally, but I don't really think this isn't about Tillerson. I think Trump was going to choose somebody for Secretary of State who would not get in the way of his plans to align our country with Putin and with Russia. And we should talk more about what that means, and we need to make sure we all understand what that means. But he wasn't going to choose Mitt Romney. He wasn't going to choose somebody who was going to get in the way of that. That's been the only thing Donald Trump has been consistent about through the whole campaign and post-election. He wants a stronger relationship with Vladimir Putin and Russia, even as it undermines our democracy. And in Tillerson, he's chosen somebody who's not going to get in his way.
Well, what we've seen was the president-elect fills out his cabinet. You've seen a lot of Republican lawmakers, happy with the picks that he has made. Tillerson is getting praise and concern, but Republican leaders, they're getting behind Tillerson as Secretary of State. As you've been watching the president-elect fill out his cabinet and has been put in place as close as advisors, are you getting more comfortable or less comfortable with his presidency now that you see the people that he's surrounding himself with?
Well, I would say Republican leaders are split. There are some who are speaking out against Tillerson. McCain is one of them, and there are others. And we'll see how things play out. Look, I hope he'll be blocked in the Senate. I'm calling on Americans to stand up.
You want to see Tillerson blocked?
Yeah, I would like to see Tillerson blocked, but it's not, again, it's not about him as much as it is standing up to Donald Trump's alignment with Vladimir Putin and Russia. This is what we need to stand up against. Tillerson is a proxy for that. But that's the issue. We cannot lose sight of that. That is what the issue is. Now, as far as the broader cabinet, there have been many picks that I'm neutral on and some picks that I think are good. I think Pompeo at CIA will do a good job. I know him. I know that he's a very, very smart man. He's got a very, he's strong-willed, so can stand up for truth, and I'm confident that he'll do a good job at CIA. I'm hopeful. General Mattis is a world-class leader, but then there are other truly troubling appointments. Sessions, for one, on civil rights issues. Flynn is somebody who has a financial, or who has had a financial relationship with the Russian government through RT America, their cable channel in the United States, which has promoted Donald Trump throughout the election while undermining Americans' faith in our democratic institutions. And then you've got Bannon, of course, who was promoted, or who turned Breitbart into as he described it, a platform for the white supremacist, or the alt-right movement, which is a euphemism for the white nationalist, white supremacist movement.
So I take this as Evan McMullin still not happy that Donald Trump's presidency,
I'm not going
and
to
not
change.
getting
It's
more
not going to
comfortable
change.
with it.
Look, Kate, I am eager to praise this administration, and I've praised decisions that I agree with. But we've got to stand up to this. We cannot be desensitized to what to the things we're talking about here today.
Evan, great to see you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Likewise, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you.